most, or many of you know, there is a renewable portfolio standard set by the General Assembly here. The law keeps changing every year. I understand there will be legislation introduced again this year. But all electricity supplies sold in Maryland must meet the standard. It's 20% by 2020, but each year they keep moving towards that target. So in 2014, the target is 10.3% Tier 1, which includes a whole bunch of different types of renewable sources, but it will include wind and solar, biomass, and all sorts of other things. It includes something like black liquor, which has been controversial. And you can see 0.35% from solar. Those numbers will increase up until 2020. The source of that must be located in the PJM area. Bernie was talking about that. This is like a 14-state area PJM administers the wholesale markets that we participate in, or in what they call a control area adjacent to PJM. So that would be in, say, the Midwest or on the other side, kind of New York. So everybody, doesn't matter, Pepco has to meet it. Every supplier that's going to engage in a contract with a customer has to meet those particular standards. The separate thing is that you can see from that chart that a number of companies make renewable energy offers. They sometimes call it renewable energy, term, clean energy, green energy. Lots of the contracts are very specific to wind energy because that's the most kind of common thing. But you may see some of that. If you're interested, and obviously there's a strong interest in this, what I do encourage you to do, particularly if you just see green, clean, renewable, what does that mean? You really do need to go back to the company, if this is a strong interest of yours, to say, okay, what does this actually mean for my purchase? What do you mean by clean? What do you mean by kind of renewable? Is it meeting, is it a term that is going to be consistent with the renewable portfolio standard? When they say renewable, is it wind, basically? So that is something that you would need to do some education on. Go back to the company. They all have to have websites, find out, and then take a look at the contract language to see what it is. And again, is it 100% of the supply? Is it 50%? Is it 5%? You're going to see when you look at that list on our website that some of them are doing percentages, 5%. The supply will be committed to renewable energy.
But even Pepco's going to have 10% this year. So
everybody has to meet that upper standard. So if you're very much interested in this, you're looking for companies that are going, frankly, beyond those state requirements. Particularly with wind, the way these contracts operate, you're not buying wind power or whether it's biomass or something else that is going to be delivered directly to your home. That's not how it works. What you're doing is paying for a company that is purchasing renewable energy out in the somewhere in the marketplace. You are basically supporting the introduction of increased amounts of renewable energy into the national grid or the regional grid. I think there's a better understanding of this now. It really is a way in which you can encourage the growth or increased diversity of this resource, but it's not a matter of, oh, I feel better because wind energy is being delivered to my house. That's not, the physics don't work that way. But you will increase the diversity of that resource by entering into these contracts. So as you can see, there are a number of companies out there offering these alternatives, and you can get in touch with them directly. And I was just referring to a price comparison chart. That other thing is just, and these are just some very quick points in terms of contracts, things to look out for. Things that we have seen in advertisements, percentage savings have been exaggerated. We've seen examples saying 30% savings off the SOS price. They're not there. It's a deceptive practice. Deceptive price comparisons, teaser rates, just something to watch out for. You may see a very low rate for month-to-month contracts for that first month, first couple of months. It's going to be a below, frankly, kind of a below market price. If it's a month-to-month contract, that price on month 2, month 3, whatever it is, will go up to whatever it is. If the contract says it can vary based on our total discretion, it could go up from 7 cents to 10 cents to 12 cents to 14 cents. We had a case in front of the commission. We're waiting for a decision. A price went up to 16 to 18 cents a kilowatt hour. The teaser rate was 7.9 cents. We had problems with this particular company. Keep in mind that teaser rates can go up, potentially go up very quickly. It's not going to, so there's volatility. Guarantees of savings on multi-year contracts, they cannot guarantee those savings. It's just not the way the contracts work. If someone is guaranteeing you a savings on a 12-month, 24-month contract, it's deceptive. Use of gift cards, points, miles, a lot of the companies are out there. That is up to you to decide whether that is of a value, but it complicates sometimes your ability to figure out, are you saving? Because now you've got a gift card, and then you're looking at the price of the electricity. And we don't take that stuff into account, but you've got to do some extra work trying to figure out whether this makes sense from a price point. But maybe you like the miles, maybe you won't like the gift card. We can't really say. We do find that when you get on the phone, door-to-door marketing, seniors are targeted. People with limited English proficiency have been targeted by certain companies, and there have been problems, in that particular area. Slamming is you get signed up without your consent. What we do caution people, do not give out your utility account number until you are ready to enter into a contract. They got the utility account number, you can get slammed quite easily. And companies have engaged in slamming. Door-to-door marketing, it's up to you whether you want to open the door, whether you want to talk to these folks. But I can tell you most of these door-to-door marketers are paid on commission. They're not always well trained. They're working off scripts. There may be a deceptive, they're supposed to have clear logo identifying information as to who they are. In some instances, they may have colors of jackets and things that look like a Pepco logo. Deceptive appearance, deceptive identification. This has happened very frequently. I'm from the utility, I'm connected to the utility, I'm doing energy efficiency audits for the utility. I need to see, we heard there's some problems with the bills, I need to see your bill. Can I just check your bill? Every single one of those things has happened. Deceptive statements about prices and services, guaranteed savings, those kinds of assertions.
Can I just say something? Door-to-door solicitation, they need to go through the town and have a town, and so they should be checked by the town. So if you get somebody who doesn't have a town identification or permit, then just assume.
And I work with Eric back and forth, Eric Friedman from Montgomery County quite a bit. Again, on the telephone, there can be deceptive identification similar to door-to-door. And once again, whether it's door-to-door or the telephone, if it's a cold call, a lot of the problems are there's no follow-up with a written contract so that you've got that documentation. Also with third-party verification, there can be, or recording, we have found that there can be selective recording of the conversation. If not, they're also very clever at setting up scripts at times that elicit yes, yes, yes. I was on a talk show once, and a caller came in and said their way of dealing with all of that stuff is to never answer a question with, say they're interested in the product, never answer it with a yes question. Never respond with yes. Answer with a full sentence. It makes it much more difficult to take what you're saying and selectively edit it. Other things to watch out for, they may tell you something on the phone or door to door, but the contract terms don't match. Sometimes even when they have a contract at the door, you hear what they say and you don't look at the contract and you sign the contract. The contract's fine, you know. I mean, there are still provisions for dealing with oral deception, but it is very difficult and very tricky unless you've got, you know, kind of a big pattern. So even if you want to deal with it over the phone or you want to deal with a door-to-door person, make sure the two match. Don't sign that contract until you take a look at it. Variable prices, I just wanted to point out. You don't know, I'll just be honest. If it says it's going to change month to month, they will not, I've never seen a contract yet that tells you what the formula is in which you can figure out how that thing is going to change from month to month. There is no transparency. And if you sign something like that, there is no assurance that that price will not jack up quite a bit. It's rare that the price goes down. Variable is supposed to go up and down, up and down. It could go up and down. Some of the companies may do this, but you just need to know that you're the one that's at risk. These typically are month-to-month contracts, so if you do enter into one, I strongly suggest you really do need to monitor the price that shows up in the bill. Because if it starts going up really high, you may decide you need to cancel that contract. Go to the contract, you need to find out how you have to cancel it. People have run into trouble because the contracts may say you have to send in a written notice of cancellation. And what you did was call the 800 number. And they'll say, well, you didn't cancel it. And then finally, again on our website, we do have the monthly guide. I've got some copies here. And the Public Service Commission also has information on what suppliers are licensed and available in the Pepco area. And they also have some pricing information that's up there. So bottom line, I'm certainly not, sometimes when you get into consumer protection things, it starts sounding very kind of negative. That's not how we perceive it. We just see our role as at least alerting folks to what it is as active consumers you need to watch out for as you're looking at price offer, contract offers from suppliers, the pitfalls that we have seen, from activity over the past decade or so. So these are the things to watch out for: kind of price, contract terms, cancellation fees, automatic renewal fees. Always check that out. And with renewable energy information, as I said, we do. I would suggest that you can use our website. If you're not familiar with different companies, at least to get a sense of which companies are making those types of offers, follow up, and it sounds like through your different associations and groups, that they may work with you to perhaps aggregate customers to work with some particular companies. We have about 130, 140 licensed suppliers serving residential. They're licensed to serve residential customers. Typically, there are about 30 or 40 suppliers in the different service territories at any given time. So BG&E is probably the biggest, Pepco lesser, but you might, I think there are about 15, 20 in the Pepco area.
Missing a number. The last is 08100 and the 410.
The first number.
First one number there. 410.
815.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. 8150.
8150.
Yeah. Fix that. Sorry about that. Yeah, you wouldn't get anywhere.
You almost got away with it.
I almost got away with it. There's always somebody in the audience.
Take easy.
Yes.
With all these practices you're describing, I would hope that there's a good history of some of these companies losing their licenses. No?
Well, some action has been taken. There's one company where there's a pending, there's a case that's pending. It's public information. Starion Energy. It was operating in the Pepco area or throughout the state. We have asked the commission after a full hearing on it to pull their license to impose a fine and to refund a substantial amount of money to the customers. We're waiting for a decision on that, because a number of the things that we were talking about were flagged.
Just interrupt for a second. I think that given the time, why don't we end the formal part, and folks who need to go can go, but stick around if you have questions with Paul. And really, thank you so much for your time, Paul. It was really good.